Okay, so when you install the Traxda 3.5-inch lift kit on the truck, you have to add, you do a 1-inch subframe drop. So you're dropping the front and rear subframe, and in turn you drop the drive shaft. So on the 2017 and up Ridgeline, the bar for the gas tank is part of that. So you end up dropping and spacing this bar down by about 1 inch. So when you put on the Nolo Designs gas tank skid plate, if you have that kit, what happens is the bar is spaced down further, and so the plate doesn't line up with the gas tank at all. It leaves approximately maybe about 1 inch of gap. So what we're doing today is I'm actually going to modify the factory bracket to try to get this to work and get the gas tank plate to tuck up nice and tight against the bottom of the tank again. So the first thing that I had to do, because we're going to leave this side's going to stay spaced down, and this side's going to bolt back up flush to the truck again. And so I went ahead and kind of milled this hole out. It was much smaller. We've milled it out to give myself some room to bolt it up. And I'm going to try, my plan right now is actually to cut a slot in this front tab here, and then I'm going to put a cut here to allow myself to bend the pipe back up into place, and then we're going to re-weld it. And so that's going to be the plan, and we're going to see how it goes. So to kind of follow up on the grinding here, I was going to just grind a slot straight in, and I may still end up having to do that, but I'm going to try and just go across this bend here in the back. That way the front's still held captive in case we hit this and it starts to rotate. It doesn't just come out from underneath the bolt. It'll have this piece of metal here to kind of hold it in. So we're going to try that out and see how it goes. Okay, so we went in and we went ahead and took this notch out here, got it cut in, and I've went ahead and cut another notch in the pipe. Now I didn't cut all the way through the pipe because my intention here, at least what I'm going to go for, is we're going to re-bolt it to the truck. I know that with the spacers on this side, it's gonna hold down further, but I'm going to actually put the jack in here. I have a floor jack I'm going to bring in and jack this side up. So with no spacer, this side is approximately 5 inches off of the bottom of the truck. And so I'm going to jack this side of it up and try to get to about the exact same height. And then hoping that the steel pipe that's remaining has enough strength to hold that bend for me. And then I'm going to take it back off the truck, clean it up, and weld it back together. Alright, so what we did, we went ahead and we were under the truck earlier there, and you saw us jacking it up, and we actually I ground a slot in this bar here, and we used the jack to bring it up to a level that matched this side. So everything across the bottom of the bar from the chassis is about 4 7/8 inch from the chassis to the bottom of the bar, which is what we were trying to do, is create that level flat bar. And then when we jacked it up, it bent and opened some, and so I just went back in and filled this with weld, which is, long term not really a good solution, but for what we're trying to do here today is just prototype and try to get the angles right. That's what we're going to go ahead and go with. So I'm going to clean this up, paint it, and we're going to bolt it back up and try to get this skid plate mounted. See how it turns out. So what we're going to do now is actually mount the gas tank bracket, because I'm feeling like this is going to work out. So we're going to go ahead and take the time to do this while we're letting the paint dry on the bar. And to mount it, there are actually two 12mm bolts that are mounted up here, some hopefully we can see. And I'm going to go ahead and just loosen those, and we're going to slide the slots in. And this bracket is really just meant to kind of carry the back of the plate to hold it in place. It's not adding particularly a ton of structure. It's helping hold it in place, but it's just meant to keep your held nice and fast here. And we really didn't want to get involved with the gas tank strap or anything like that. That way we don't have to worry about, you know, users inadvertently dropping the gas tank or something like that when you're trying to do the install. So we're gonna go ahead and put this rear bracket on. Okay, so when you're trying to put this back together, it actually works out easier if you feed in my mind it does at least, is if you feed the bolts in from behind, and then you can, once this gets, you line it up, it shouldn't line up and fall through, hopefully. There we go. And then you can actually just slide it up and put the nut on, run that down just finger tight to get started, and then do the same thing over again and run the bolt through the back, and then get it started on here, and then we're going to come back and tighten these down. So we just finished mounting the gas tank skid plate after modifying the front arm that's on the truck, and it went pretty well. It's still a little bit lower than what I would have liked it to have been, and we had to make a few changes, but it's definitely on there, and it's a lot closer to the factory location than what it would have been initially. If you have a completely stock truck or even like a 2-inch lift, you don't have to worry about any of this because there's no drop spacers. The plate bolts right on using 3 10mm bolts, and then there's 2 17mm bolts with 15mm nuts that come in the kit, and it'll bolt right up. And so right now we're just going to start cleaning up, and it's on there. So if you guys have any questions about the gas tank skid plate, feel free to reach out and let me know. Thanks.